Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really pivotal issue. It's bubbling up as artificial intelligence increasingly shapes, well, pretty much everything around us.
Really is healthcare, education, how we get around finance. It's everywhere.
Exactly. And as AI gets deeper into these fundamental parts of life, a core challenge pops up.
Yeah.
How do we actually protect the AI inventions driving all this? And just as importantly, how do we make sure knowledge gets shared so we can build on it?
That's the nub of it. It brings us to what we're really digging into today, the difficulties the standard patent system is having with modern AI. Especially these trained models.
Right. If you know patents, the whole idea is you describe the invention well enough in writing so someone skilled, an expert,
Yep.
could basically rebuild it.
A classic blueprint idea.
Yeah. Okay, so let's unpack why this traditional approach kind of gets stuck when it comes to AI.
Well, the core problem is what makes a lot of today's AI so powerful. It isn't just the algorithm, like the basic instructions. It's fundamentally the trained model itself. This model, and specifically its internal numbers, the weights, they're the result of feeding the AI tons of data, tweaking it over a long training time. That's what lets it learn and make decisions.
So it's not like a simple recipe you can just write down and follow perfectly every time.
Not at all. Even if you have the same algorithm, maybe even the same type of data, you might not get the exact same trained model.
Okay, why not? What makes it vary?
A few things. There's often some randomness built into the training process itself. Differences in the computers, the hardware used, that can change the outcome too. And a big one, the specific data used to train it might be secret, proprietary. You can't always get access to it.
So even with a really detailed patent explaining the algorithm.
Getting an exact copy of the crucial bit, the specific trained model, is often, well, practically impossible.
And this is where the whole patent idea starts to wobble a bit, right? Because the point is disclosure. You tell people how it works so they understand it, and eventually, after the patent runs out, they can build on it.
Exactly, the quid pro quo. Protection for disclosure.
But if the most important part, the trained model, can't really be described fully or reliably reproduced, then the patent isn't doing its full job. So what do we do? Is there a way forward?
There is, potentially, and it comes from looking at, interestingly enough, biotechnology.
Oh, how so?
Think about inventing, say, a new type of bacteria or finding a unique bit of DNA. You can't perfectly describe that in writing, so someone else can make the exact same thing from scratch.
Right, I see where you're going. It's a physical thing or a biological one.
Exactly. So what did biotech do? They set up biological depositories, basically secure places where they store actual physical samples of these microorganisms or genetic materials.
Well, okay. So you deposit the thing itself because the written description isn't quite enough.
Precisely. It provides access to the core invention when words alone fall short.
Okay, I'm following. So if we can't fully write down the secret sauce of an AI, the trained model, maybe we need a way to securely kind of store the model itself somewhere.
Yeah. That's the idea. This leads to the concept of national or maybe even international AI model repositories.
Okay, tell me more. What would that look like?
Imagine secure digital vaults, basically. Places where inventors could upload their trained AI models, the weights, the architecture files, plus important details, metadata about how it was built and what it does.
That sounds potentially huge. What features would these repositories need to actually work well?
Well, several key things. First, obviously, secure model deposits. A safe way to submit the files.
Makes sense.
Second, confidential storage. These models would have to be kept private while the patent is active. Protecting the inventor's IP is crucial. Maybe they get released after expiry, but that needs careful thought.
Right, you can't just have competitors downloading it day one. What else?
Controlled testing access. This is really important. Patent offices, courts, they need a way to actually test the model to see if it works as claimed or if another product infringes, but without making it public.
How would they do that?
Think of secure sandboxes. Isolated digital environments where they could run the model, check its outputs, but without exposing the underlying code or weights.
Okay, like a sealed lab environment, but digital.
Exactly. And alongside that, you'd need strong digital integrity checks. Things like cryptographic hashes, like a unique digital fingerprint.
To prove it hasn't been tampered with.
Precisely. To ensure the model deposited is the model being examined years later even.
And it wouldn't just be the model file itself, would it? You'd need context.
Absolutely vital. You'd need good metadata and documentation. What's the model for? How was it trained? What data was used? What are its limits or
Like
biases?
those model cards people are starting to talk about.
Exactly like model cards. It gives essential background for anyone, like a patent examiner or a judge, trying to understand the invention properly.
Okay, so this sounds like a big undertaking. Setting up these AI model repositories, why bother? What are the real payoffs?
Oh, the benefits could be substantial. Multiple layers. First, legal clarity. Right now, it's incredibly hard to say for sure if a new AI product is infringing an existing patent without seeing the actual trained model.
Yeah, how do you compare them?
It's really difficult. Repositories give you a solid thing to compare against, a basis for legal decision.
Okay, clarity for courts. What else?
It helps innovation, researchers, other companies. They could reliably check how patented inventions actually work. And critically, once a patent expires, they could potentially access and learn from those deposited models.
Building on past work the way patents are supposed to allow.
Exactly. It speeds things up. Imagine you're a small startup. You've built an amazing AI model for, say, finding cancer early.
Right.
Without a way to properly patent that model, a giant company could maybe just copy your approach pretty easily. Repositories could give that startup a fairer shot, protect their core innovation.
Yeah.
That helps get useful tech out there faster.
That point about the really big, complex AIs feels especially important, too.
Definitely. Think about trying to rebuild something like, ChatGPT or a big image generator or the AI in a self-driving car just from a written description.
Forget it. Impossible.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You need the original trained weights. And those come from massive data sets, huge amounts of computing power, tons of money. Repositories acknowledge that reality.
So it helps the legal system, gives investors more confidence, maybe?
Yes, investors like clarity. It helps inventors feel their core work is protected. And down the line, researchers get access to expired models to learn from and build upon. It creates a better ecosystem.
And this idea, these repositories, it doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It feels like it connects to broader talks about AI governance.
Absolutely. Things like the EU AI Act, other international frameworks, they're all trying to figure out how we make sure AI is safe, fair, transparent.
Hmm.
Model repositories fit right into that. They specifically tackle the intellectual property and innovation angle within that bigger picture of responsible AI.
So really, this isn't just about tweaking patent rules. It's about making sure the whole point of the patent system still works in the age of AI.
That's the heart of it. Patents are meant to encourage innovation by giving temporary protection in exchange for sharing knowledge.
The disclosure part again.
Right. But with AI, that key piece of knowledge, the trained model, isn't really being shared effectively under the current system.
Mm.
Repositories are a way to fix that leak, basically, to make AI patents more complete, more enforceable, and ultimately more useful for driving progress.
So it really does feel like we're at a point where the legal and innovation systems just have to evolve. They need to catch up with the tech.
We do. Building this kind of infrastructure now seems pretty crucial if we want AI innovation to flourish in a way that's, well, manageable and benefits everyone.
And having those secure sandboxes we mentioned, that directly tackles the issue of how patent offices can even understand these complex inventions without spilling the secrets. That was a big hurdle.
It was, and this offers a potential solution. It's about making sure the rules designed to help innovation don't accidentally end up blocking it when the technology itself changes so fundamentally.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap. The old patent system, based on written, reproducible descriptions, it's really struggling with AI inventions, where the trained model is the key thing.
Because those models often can't be fully described or reliably reproduced just from writing.
Right. And a potential solution we've discussed is AI model repositories, taking a page from how biotechnology handles similar issues with biological samples.
Yeah, secure storage, controlled testing access, good documentation. It's a framework.
A framework that could hopefully protect AI inventions better, while also helping transparency and future innovation.
That's the goal, adapting our IP system to fit the reality of AI.
So that leaves me with a final thought for you, our listener. As AI gets more and more powerful, more complex, these decisions we're making now about how we handle its intellectual property, they seem really important, don't they? With potentially long-lasting effects.
Mm.
Is this just about patent technicalities?
Yeah.
Or does it dig deeper into bigger questions about, who gets access to these powerful tools? How do we balance control versus openness? What does the future of innovation even look like in this field? Something to think about as AI keeps evolving and changing our world. Thanks for diving into this with us.